musicians who passed out live on stage. The stage is supposed to be their safe space. Thousands of fans, bright lights, and the music they've performed for decades. But sometimes the body simply gives out without warning. The show stops cold. Here are 12 musicians who collapsed in front of their audiences. Number 12, Elton John.
Don't you know how to think you know me then?
The Rocket Man has sold over 300 million records worldwide and performed more than 4,000 concerts across 6 decades. But in February 2020, during his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour in Auckland, New Zealand, his body finally forced him to stop. He had been diagnosed with walking pneumonia days earlier, but insisted on performing. Mid-show, his voice simply disappeared. Fans watched in shock as he attempted to continue singing Daniel, but broke down in tears, unable to finish the song. Staff helped him off stage as he apologized to the stunned crowd of 30,000 fans at MT Smart Stadium.
On the ground.
At 72 years old, the incident was a stark reminder that even rock's most tireless entertainers have physical limits. He later posted on social media about how deeply upset he was to disappoint his audience.
A little bit funny, this feeling inside.
The tour was postponed shortly after due to the pandemic, but Elton returned to the stage in 2022, determined to complete his farewell shows. The Auckland collapse remains one of the most emotional moments of his legendary 50-year career.
You had a busy day today.
Number 11, James Brown.
I feel good. I feel good. I do it hours.
The Godfather of Soul built his reputation on explosive live performances that left audiences breathless for over 5 decades. His signature move, the Cape routine where he would collapse dramatically on stage and be revived by his bandmates, became one of music's most iconic theatrical moments. But in his final years, the collapses became frighteningly real. The relentless touring schedule he maintained throughout his career, sometimes performing over 200 shows annually during his peak, had taken its toll on his body. Brown had famously pushed through illness and injury throughout his career, refusing to cancel shows even when doctors advised rest. He was hospitalized multiple times during the 2000s for dehydration and exhaustion related to his demanding performance schedule. By his early 70s, crew members had become accustomed to monitoring his condition closely during shows.
It would be nothing.
He passed away on Christmas Day 2006 at age 73, leaving behind a legacy of over 800 songs and more live performances than almost any artist in history. Even at the end, the hardest working man in show business refused to slow down.
Hold me and love.
Number 10, George Michael.
I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
The former Wham frontman had sold over 120 million records worldwide by the time he launched his Symphonica tour in 2011.
Judas, this is the year of the hungry man.
The stripped-down orchestral performances showcased his stunning voice in intimate settings across Europe. But on November 21, 2011, during a concert in Vienna, Austria, something went terribly wrong. Mid-performance, Michael became severely ill and was forced to stop the show. He was rushed to the hospital immediately. Doctors discovered he had severe pneumonia that had developed into a lung abscess. He was placed in an induced coma and spent weeks fighting for his life. Medical staff later revealed he had been hours from death when he arrived at the hospital.
I have to tell you just how I feel.
The Faith singer eventually recovered, giving an emotional press conference outside his London home where he thanked the Austrian medical team for saving him. He called it the worst month of my life and admitted he had been in denial about the severity of his illness before the Vienna show. Michael returned to touring in 2012, but the collapse marked a turning point in his awareness of his own mortality. He passed away on Christmas Day 2016 at age 53. Number 9. Judy Garland. The star of The Wizard of Oz and A Star is Born had been performing since childhood, accumulating decades of physical and emotional strain by the time she reached her 40s. Her concert appearances in the 1960s became increasingly unpredictable.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away.
With audiences never knowing which Judy would appear on stage. On multiple occasions during this tumultuous period, she was unable to continue performances due to a combination of exhaustion, prescription drug dependency, and deteriorating health.
I feel forsaken.
Her Australian tour in May 1964 became notorious for troubled performances. At Sydney Stadium on May 13, 1964, she was booed off stage after showing up visibly unwell and unable to remember lyrics. She collapsed backstage after the disastrous show. The pattern continued throughout the decade, with her final tour in early 1969 featuring several incomplete performances before her tragic death that June at age 47 from an accidental barbiturate overdose. Despite the chaos, her talent shone through in moments of brilliance that reminded audiences why she remained one of entertainment's most beloved figures. Before we get to the top 8, which collapse story surprised you the most? Some of these legends pushed through unimaginable circumstances just to perform for their fans. Did you know about these incidents? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from.
I'm uphill just to watch it get dark from the top of the mark.
Number 8. Meatloaf. The Bat Out of Hell singer became known for theatrical performances that matched the epic nature of his music. The physical demands of his high-energy shows were immense, and health incidents became an unfortunate pattern throughout his later career. In June 2016, at age 68, he collapsed to the stage mid-performance in Edmonton, Canada. Video footage showed him appearing disoriented before suddenly dropping during "I Do Anything for Love." Crew members and medical personnel rushed to his aid as shocked fans watched in horror. He was hospitalized but survived, later attributing the collapse to dehydration and pushing himself too hard. The Edmonton incident was widely documented and shared across news outlets worldwide. Despite warnings from doctors about his demanding touring schedule, he continued performing until shortly. Before his death in January 2022 at age 74, his commitment to giving audiences everything he had, regardless of the physical toll, defined his entire career and earned him lasting respect from fans who witnessed his dedication firsthand. Number 7. Jackie Wilson.
Just say you will, say you will, say you will.
The man they called Mr. Excitement had been thrilling audiences since the late 1950s with hits like Lonely Teardrops, Higher and Higher, and Baby Workout.
Work out, work out, work out, work out night long, yeah.
His electrifying stage presence and acrobatic dance moves made him one of the most dynamic performers in R&B history. On September 29, 1975, while performing at the Latin Casino in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Wilson collapsed on stage during his signature song, Lonely Teardrops. He suffered a massive heart attack in front of a horrified audience.
You must go and on.
The 41-year-old was rushed to the hospital where doctors managed to save his life, but the damage was catastrophic. Wilson fell into a coma that would last for nearly 9 years. He never regained consciousness, requiring constant medical care until his death on January 21, 1984 at age 49.
Oh, my darling Atlanta.
The tragedy of Jackie Wilson remains one of the most devastating incidents in music history. A performer who had given everything to his audiences spent his final years completely unaware of the world around him. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, 3 years after his death. Number 6. Toni Braxton.
My heart, say you love me.
The R&B superstar had earned 7 Grammy Awards and sold over 70 million records when she received a devastating diagnosis. Doctors told her she had microvascular angina, a heart condition that causes chest pain and can lead to sudden collapse. She was also diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease that would affect her ability to perform for years to come. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, these conditions forced her to cancel tours and postpone performances multiple times.
God knows I can't get you out of my mind. I can't deny.
The Unbreak My Heart singer has been open about her struggles, using her platform to raise awareness about heart, a disease in women. She was hospitalized multiple times due to complications from her conditions, sometimes being rushed from venues when symptoms became severe. Despite the health challenges, she continued performing, telling fans that music was her therapy and her reason to keep fighting.
You've been gone, I've been thinking about you, baby.
She later joined the cast of Braxton Family Values on WETV, where she further discussed her health battles publicly. At 57, she still performs, though with greater awareness of her limitations and regular medical monitoring. These stories only get more intense from here. Did any of these artists influence your love of music growing up? Have you been following their careers for decades? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Number 5. Patti LaBelle. The godmother of soul had been performing for over 5 decades, from her groundbreaking days with LaBelle in the 1970s through her Grammy-winning solo career. Hits like Lady Marmalade in 1975 and New Attitude in 1984 made her a permanent. Fixture in R&B and soul music history. Throughout her career, she has dealt with diabetes and other health challenges that have occasionally affected her performances. At concerts in her later years, medical staff remained on standby as a precaution. LaBelle has been candid about managing her health while maintaining her demanding performance schedule. She has had to stop shows when feeling unwell, prioritizing her well-being after decades of pushing through. Representatives have confirmed she occasionally performs while not feeling her best, insisting on honoring her commitment to fans who travel to see her.
Something in my heart always knew.
The incidents highlighted the dedication many veteran performers feel toward their audiences, sometimes at the expense of their own health. Now in her 80s, LaBelle continues performing, though with greater attention to her physical limitations and a support team ready to assist if needed.
About the changes Miss Patty's been going through.
Number 4. Bobby Brown.
It's the way that I wanna live. I can do just what
The New Edition star turned solo hitmaker had been through very public struggles with addiction and personal tragedy, but he kept returning to the stage. Songs like My Prerogative and Every Little Step had made him one of the biggest R&B stars of the late 1980s and early 1990s, selling millions of records worldwide.
Can't sleep at night, I toss and turn, listen for the telephone, but when it gets your call.
In 2016, during a concert in Atlanta, Georgia, with his reunited New Edition bandmates, Brown collapsed on stage in front of thousands of horrified fans. Video footage showed him appearing disoriented and unsteady before suddenly falling to the ground. Security and medical personnel quickly surrounded him as the music abruptly stopped. He was helped backstage and eventually transported to a hospital for evaluation and treatment. The collapse came during an especially difficult period in his life.
All I know is that we gotta get it. We gotta make it all now.
Less than a year after his daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, died in July 2015, following her own tragic medical emergency. Stress, overwhelming grief, and the physical demands of performing were all cited as possible contributing factors. Brown recovered and continued performing with New Edition, including their highly successful Culture Tour. Now in his mid-50s, he remains active, though more aware of his health. Number 3. Tammy Wynette.
Stand by it, man.
The The First Lady of Country Music sold millions of records with signature hits like Stand By Your Man and Divorce. But behind the sequined gowns and powerful voice was a woman battling chronic, debilitating illness for most of her adult life.
Spell out the words we don't want them to understand.
She underwent more than 20 major surgeries during her lifetime, primarily for bile duct issues and severe intestinal problems. The physical toll forced her to perform while in tremendous pain throughout her career.
And then the teardrops made my eyes grow.
Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, she was hospitalized repeatedly, sometimes having to cancel entire tours at the last minute. She performed while connected to IVs and on pain medication, determined to fulfill her obligations to the fans who loved her music.
Till then I'll lean on you. That's all I'm meant to do.
Her husband and manager George Ritchie often had to help her on and off stage during her final years of touring. She died on April 6, 1998 at age 55 from a blood clot. The official cause was cardiac arrhythmia, but years of health struggles and the medications she required had weakened her body beyond repair. Her dedication to performing despite her condition became as legendary as her music itself.
Well, I'll change if it takes that to make you happy.
Number 2. Karen Carpenter.
They long to be close to you.
The Carpenters sold over 100 million records worldwide with their soft rock hits like Close to You and We've Only Just Begun. Karen's voice was described as one of the purest sounds in popular music, a warm contralto that touched millions. But privately, she struggled with anorexia nervosa at a time when the eating disorder was barely understood by the medical community or the public.
Hanging around, nothing to do but frown.
In early 1975, the Carpenters were forced to cancel their European tour when Karen was hospitalized for what was described as physical and nervous exhaustion. She was severely underweight, and doctors ordered her to rest immediately.
I'm on the top of the world again, down on creation and the
Karen spent weeks recovering, but she never fully overcame her eating disorder despite various treatments. She continued to struggle with her weight throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, sometimes dropping to dangerously low levels.
Every sha-la-la-la, every whoa-whoa.
On February 4th, 1983, Karen Carpenter died at her parents' home in Downey, California. She was 32 years old. The official cause was heart failure brought on by emetine cardiotoxicity, a complication from her battle with anorexia nervosa. Her tragic death helped bring unprecedented public attention to eating disorders and changed how the medical community approached treatment.
start out walking and learn to run.
Number 1. Conway Twitty.
I'm doing all right, except I can't sleep.
The country music legend had recorded 55 #1 singles on the Billboard country charts, more than any other artist in the genre's history. His hits spanned from his rock and roll days in the 1950s, beginning with It's Only Make Believe in 1958. Through decades of country stardom that included beloved duets with Loretta Lynn. At age 59, he was still touring relentlessly, performing for devoted fans across the country.
Tomorrow, I'll still love you like I'm loving you tonight.
On June 4th, 1993, during a performance in Branson, Missouri, Conway Twitty suddenly collapsed on stage in front of his audience. He was rushed to a local hospital where doctors discovered he was suffering from an abdominal aortic aneurysm, a life-threatening condition where the main blood vessel in the body ruptures. Emergency surgery was attempted, but the damage was too severe. Conway Twitty died the following day, June 5th, 1993. He had literally given his last breath performing for the fans he loved.
And I know I held more woman than most eyes have ever seen. That night I knew.
Fellow country artists were devastated by the sudden loss. Loretta Lynn, his longtime duet partner, spoke emotionally about losing her dear friend and one of country music's greatest talents. His final performance became one of the most tragic moments in country music history.
Understand when it comes to love, you want a slow hand.